Hello people of Earth and welcome to QuicksaveTV. This is your host Mike Pushkin and today I'm going to talk to you about Counter-Strike Global Offensive or Go, which is, a very cool name. And I'm gonna talk about specifically what changed in the game, what's my experience with it, and just a breakdown of what you might expect if you didn't get on the beta, which I didn't get on the beta either, but I was able to get an account from my good friend and yes. Thanks to him, I was able to make this footage, record this footage, just try out the game and give you my impressions on it. This is essentially based on about 3 hours of gaming experience in Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, not more. So, what is Counter-Strike? Counter-Strike, essentially, it was in first long ago, many years ago, when computers were big and dinosaurs roamed the land, Counter-Strike was this kind of game, which was essentially a mod to Half-Life. And it gained popularity very quickly because it was this on the source on the engine of the Half-Life. It was essentially a militaristic experience in the modern age, modern era with modern weapons, and it was just so exciting. People loved it, and I myself as a kid, I had a lot of experience with it, and I played it a lot essentially with friends, and in class we would have these lessons of computer science, and our teacher, a great woman, she would just say once every little once in a while, she would just let us play, games and then allow us to install the games on the computer. And yeah, that's what it was for us. Some other days we would just study some Word, Microsoft Office tools and suits and etc. and blah and internet and all this basic stuff for your greenish newbies. But when we would have a chance to play, we would play Quake, we would play Quake 3 Arena, we would play Half-Life, we would play Half-Life Deathmatch, we would play Counter-Strike 1.6, one of the most popular games that we played. And because of that, essentially I grew up in this environment of competition to perform better, as simple as that. And it was how to put it better, it's like a competitive experience amongst your class, and you have your classmates playing against you, and you want to tear them to pieces and then rub it in their bloody face and say, you know what, I screwed you over. And it was just, that's what it is. That's what Counter-Strike essentially is. It's a competition in a game. That's just ultimate competition. It's not, it's more, in my opinion, it's even more competitive than Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Call of Duty as such or Battlefield, because there's no unlockables. You don't unlock anything in the game, and it's just competition for the sake of competition. Okay, that's in short what it is. So, innovation in Counter-Strike Go. I played Counter-Strike 1.6 and Counter-Strike Source. Counter-Strike 1.6 much more than Source, essentially. I liked Source, but I just didn't play it, alright? I liked the way it was, but I didn't play it much. So, we have 2 new game modes. For me, they are new anyway. They were implemented in modding maps and etc. These mods are essentially where you get new weapons rewarded to you. You don't buy them like in a classic Counter-Strike, you just get them rewarded. As long as you kill the enemy in a round, you get a new weapon for the next round. That's called, I think, Demolition. Arsenal Demolition. And another one is Arsenal, how to put it better, like a deathmatch. And you have all these kinds of weapons, almost all the weapons in the game which you have to cycle through, and the last weapon that's given to you is called Golden Knife. And the first player that does all the kills, and unlocks essentially all the weapons and kills everybody, gets the first place. That he's the winner. That's what it is. It's like, it reminds a lot, I think, it essentially reminds me a lot, because Call of Duty I have much more extensive experience than Counter-Strike Source or Counter-Strike 1.6 modern maps, because back in the day, getting an unusual, unique map was a big pain in the ass, because as I was growing up, we didn't have a strong internet connections, and which we had didn't allow us to do much, and so we probably just played on the basic maps. It was the Dust 2, like Demolition, Dust 2, Mansion, Italy, and this kind of maps, like basic maps which come in a complex and what we could get easily, not the more specific maps. Getting something more specific would be like, oh my goodness, this is like a big holiday, we have to try it out. So yeah, in short, we have this new gaming mods, and I think this Arsenal reminds me a lot the gun game in Call of Duty Black Ops, and then subsequently in Modern Warfare 3. The gun game is essentially you kill the enemy, you get a new gun rewarded. Very, very cool. It's fun, but I just it just feels much more interesting in Call of Duty, in all honesty. In Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, it just seems much more polished, and my screen gold flags for some reason. It's just much more polished in my opinion, and it just works better. And associated with the experience gained, it's just much more rewarding in Call of Duty than it is in Counter-Strike, as there are no unlocks. You play the game for the sake of competition, just like you would play in StarCraft 2. You don't really play for portraits. Well, most of the people don't anyway. You play for the competition. You want to win. You want to have something to brag about. You want to have this bragging rights. That's what it is. So it's the same in Counter-Strike. And we have two classic modes. Essentially original classic mode, which is expanded to the casual and non-casual. Competitive mode, which is second, is essentially what it was in Counter-Strike 1.6. We have friendly fire on, we have collision on, and etc. All these things are customizable and blah blah blah. Plus you have to buy everything manually. In the casual mode, you essentially have armor bought for you, if I'm not mistaken, and you have the defusal kit bought for you. So it makes everything much more easier, which kind of kills the game in my opinion. I would rather play competitive and suck at it than play casual and rock at it. I don't know, because it's just what the Counter-Strike is. The biggest interesting part of Counter-Strike was this management of funds, in my opinion. From the tactical perspective, it would be very wise to consider what are you buying, right? Because players that perform better and don't die generally will be able to preserve their weapons and buy new weapons in the beginning of the round. It's very beneficial for you to consider how do you spend your funds, because if you suck, you won't be able to buy every time the weapons you would like to have. And it's just the way the game works, right? And this is very important. Cool. Now, we have some new weaponry. Most of the weaponry original from Counter-Strike Source and Counter-Strike 1.6 made it to the game. Some of it didn't. We have some new weaponry, which I like a lot. We have the Bison, a Russian machine pistol, Tech 9, an American, I think it's an American. I don't remember. I don't think it's an American. I think it was an analogy of Mach 10. Essentially, yeah, well, Tech 9 is like a pistol. It allows you to fire single bullets, and you know, it's just like a pistol with extended magazine. Then we have a couple of new shotguns, which is interesting. And shotguns, which I like a lot in Counter-Strike Go, is that shotguns are actually useful, unlike in Modern Warfare. Because in Modern Warfare 3, for instance, shotguns as such are useless because of their distance. They don't fire too far away, but they're devastating in close range. I'm not going to degrade them on that, but the thing is that because of their uselessness at great distance, they suddenly become the close combat solution or a rushing solution. And generally, shotguns are so strong in Modern Warfare 3 is because of the map design. Maps are very small, there are a lot of close and tight spaces, that's why shotguns rock there. Not because they're essentially strong. In Counter-Strike Go, I had several occasions when I would be killed with a shotgun from extremely long distance, and it was fun, you know. That's what it is, that's what the shotgun is. There is pellet spread and blah 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 bish, but it doesn't mean that you cannot kill a target from far away distance. Now we also have several machine guns. We have a Russian machine gun and we have a Belgian machine gun. Now Belgian machine gun is like original M249, the machine gun that has a relatively low attack firing speed, but it's what it is, it's what it was, you know, it's tactical solution, very nice machine gun. And another one is like Russian machine gun, and it's essentially, it has very rapid firing speed, and it's another tactical solution. It just allows you to select what would you like to do in the game, how would you like to assist your team or play yourself. Now, what I wanted to say specific, oh yeah, I talked so much about competitiveness of the game, but I forgot one thing. When I compare things, I'm sorry to compare things all the time, but that's essentially what it is. You know, we're finding comparison right now. Since the Counter-Strike Go will be released sometime in the future, and it's essentially a competitive shooter, I will compare it with the competitive shooters of today. Sugars of today. Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3. Just, I mean, get over it. There's no other way for me to give it to you, because if you're playing these games and you didn't play Counter-Strike Go, it would be just stupid to compare it in a nutshell, to compare it in the vacuum of nothingness. You know, oh, this is Counter-Strike Go and it rocks, right? That's it. No, we have to compare it with the modern shooters. Now, it's unforgiving. Unlike Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare 3, although there are hardcore modes in Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3, they are ridiculous. Okay, that's my opinion. Modern Warfare 3 hardcore mode is just ridiculous. It essentially cuts down your hit points 3 times, and that's just stupid. It's ridiculous because of the way it operates. It's just not fun. Camper for the win. Yes, very fun. Oh, what an exciting game. Take anything that's... If the double machine guns just tear apart everything because of the attack. Just it's ridiculous. What we're comparing right now. Battlefield 3, although it aims to be more realistic, Battlefield 3 is kind of realistic. I mean, it's not uber realistic, like, for instance, what was the game? Red Orchestra? Or Red Orchestra is ridiculously realistic. Battlefield 3 aims to be kind of more realistic, but it's still a kind of arcade shooter. It's much more hardcore than Modern Warfare 3, but it lacks the fast-paced combat that Counter-Strike has. So Counter-Strike is like a step away from both of those because it doesn't have any unlocks, but it has this hardcore, unforgiving gameplay, and it's just very hard. I gonna tell it to you like this: it's very hard. If you're not good, the game is really unforgiving. No one's gonna teach you or take your hand and teach you how to play. There's no kill cams in the game. There are this cool effect once the enemy kills you, it just transports you to the enemy and shows who killed you, depending on the settings of the server. In this particular video, you will not see that, but essentially it just transports the camera to the character who killed you, to another person, be that counter-terrorist or terrorist, and allows you a few seconds to take a cool screenshot. It's cool, I love it, but it doesn't show you any help. Unlike in Modern Warfare 3, where you would have a kill cam, you know, that's the kill cam, that's how the guy killed you, that's not existent here. And because of that, if you're not experienced, like me, I don't consider myself a good Counter-Strike player, probably a noobiest noob of all time. It's just very hard, okay? It's unforgiving experience, and it's just uber competitive. It's very competitive, very rough, and it's fun because of that. It's not a hardcore realistic shooter, but it's a lot of fun to play because of its competitiveness and these unforgiving points that, like, if you're good in it, you're good in it. You're just tearing apart. If you're bad in it, you're gonna suck, and it will take a lot of time to get better. It's just very not friendly. But the good side is that you get into the game immediately, and it's fun. And all the spots, for the players that are not in the game yet, you will see that I'm playing here with other players, against a lot of bots until other players join. It's fun, you know, because you don't have to wait for a game. I mean, I started the game, I pressed, I want to join a match, and it just threw me in the first match, and it was fun. It was really, really fun, and I didn't have to wait for anything. It's just great experience. I loved it, alright? I'm not trying to say that the Call of Duty, Jesus, Counter-Strike Go is a huge innovation. What it is basically a refurbish of Counter-Strike Source and Counter-Strike 1.6, but it's a good refurbish. I don't want to play Counter-Strike 1.6 or Counter-Strike Source. I would like to play this game instead because I like the new things in the user interface. I like the new refurbished crosshair, the way it operates. It gives me much more assistance than the previous crosshairs ever did. And I like the map, the way it operates. I like this unforgiving, the spirit of the game in which you just have to learn it, and no one cares if you can or not. When you get into the game, you better perform good, because people will be dissatisfied with your performance if you're not good. It's very simple. It's just competitive bragging rights, and it's very awesome. It's very cool. So now, critique, a couple of words I wanted to say. So far, I didn't like several things in the game. That's user interface first. When you get hit, you get this stupid bloody circle in the middle, which doesn't tell me anything. Okay, fine, it's cool circles. Circles are cool, aesthetically nice and impressive. I don't understand how much hit points I lost. Because of the generally user interface is small and the hit points are in the corner, I just don't understand when I'm hurt. I hope they will change it to something like it is in Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Counter-Strike. Even in Counter-Strike 1.6 it was better. I mean, it was showing how much you would be damaged. I just felt it. Here I don't. I just get damaged and I die often because I don't even understand how much hit points I have left. And then I check my hit points and I'm like, oh, two health points. And I'm like, oh yes, good. I'm so not going to die in the next encounter. It's just not comfortable. And another thing is the buying screen. The way it operates is that it's very comfortable to purchase things with a mouse, but it's not so comfortable to do it with a keyboard. So essentially sometimes menus do not navigate correctly, and it's just not comfortable. Because it's not comfortable. It has the names on the circle, on the wheel. I would like to have pictures instead, or something that's more representative, because this way it's just not visible and it takes a lot of time to purchase things. Good thing that in most of the lobbies there is the pause in the beginning of the game. There's several seconds which you can spend to buy yourself gun, which is nice, but it doesn't really combat these difficulties, and I would like it to be combated. Now, okay, that would be it. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video and my impressions, my commentary on this. I would really appreciate it. And check out my other videos. I have quite a lot of content about Skyrim on my channel and other great games. And yes, I thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more content. I will probably make more videos about Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but right now I just wanted to share it with you because it's just, I wanted to share it. I wanted to put it out. I wanted to give you my opinion on Counter-Strike Global Offensive so that maybe attract your attention to it or just, you know, help you to help you to just forget about it easily. And you know, it's just exciting game. I'm excited about it. I liked it a lot. It's what it is. It's maybe because I have a lot of nostalgia with it, with Counter-Strike 1.6, but I liked it a lot. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it will be fairly competitive compared to other games, and I cannot wait to see what it's gonna be about. Thank you so much for watching, stay tuned for more content, and have a great day!